rapporteurs from the different commissions to come forward. The rapporteurs. Huh? You presenting?
Yes, I'm reporting for Commission 1.
Okay, we'll then receive a report from Commission 1 that is on partnerships.
No. That is on the quality framework. Okay,
Okay, we're here.
no. No, this is done.
I'm confused. Okay, it's the commissions.
No.
Right, do we have the rapporteur for the second commission? Oh, okay. All right, let's hand, Dr. Nofumela, are you ready with your presentation?
Don't you want to do it first? Yeah, she'll do. Let her do it first. But I'm not going to project mine.
Okay, maybe let's start with you then in the interest of time.
Just speak to. Is it still morning? At this stage, I'm not even sure. It's still morning. Good morning, colleagues. Just one sec. I need to open. I'm not going to project, but I'm going to speak to discussions in Commission 1. In Commission 1, we held discussions under the label of towards a South African will quality assurance framework. So the reason for this is obviously for us to look at establishing a will quality assurance framework for the country and hopefully also for the region. So what we then did at the commission, we started off by looking at what we are doing currently. I am not sure if we are aware, but SASCA does have a will quality assurance cycle where we speak about what needs to happen from the beginning, from the development of the program. If you're developing a will program, we start there. So we've drawn a cycle. So these are the discussions that take place when you're developing the program, and then comes the preparation of students, and then the placement of students. Then once students have been placed, the registration, because will is an academic subject, therefore students need to register. The next step is the supervision. When students come back, give us feedback. We also get feedback from industry, so it's kind of a cycle. That is a quality assurance cycle that was developed quite a number of years back, I think right at the inception stages of SASCA. It was developed by the Committee of Technical Principals. We are the people that pushed for the development of SASCA. So for some of us, we've been using that that cycle. I know that at MUT, I've just adapted it in terms of the context within which I work, but we work on that. We will be sharing that framework with the delegates because I know not all of us are aware of it. So what we did at the commission, we took the participants through that and then looked then at the framework from the global will quality framework from WACE. So the way we approached it, we looked at there are things that the institution needs to do, there are things that the host organizations need to do, there are things that the student needs to do. But in the interest of time, we attended to the areas that we felt need to be in the framework. The first thing is institutional strategy. on work integrated learning. The Commission identified the fact that you cannot have you cannot have a strong work integrated learning if there is no institutional buy-in at the highest level and where will issues are profiled at the highest level of the institution. And therefore, for the quality framework, we're thinking that that is an area that needs to come in. We heard of a number of issues, examples that show that institutions don't really, walk the talk when it comes to work integrated learning. The resources come in, and only if will is profiled at an institutional level will resource allocation be, rectified, people looking at workload and et cetera, et cetera. So as a commission, we said in the quality framework, our starting point needs to be looking at that. To what extent is leadership in our institutions buying into work integrated learning? To what extent is it profiled in our strategy documents? And to what extent is it being driven now at implementation level? There are things that we really looked at: the work readiness of students, the work readiness preparation of students. That is something that the Commission identified as critical to be in the framework, because you cannot unleash students into the world of work if they have not been properly prepared for the world of work. And we spoke about, if you are going to, and if you're going to do a work readiness program, you have to make sure that students are going to attend it. So there is, and it's something in the some of the suggestions is that in the framework, we do need to speak about work readiness having to be timetabled, for an example, so that you are able to get students to attend it. Whilst we acknowledge that there are no credits for work readiness, but we should be looking at ways in which to incentivize and encourage students to attend work readiness. So we looked at that. We also realized that it's going to be important to form partnerships with other people. For an example, the QCTO indicated to us that they have a work readiness document that we can tap into. So as part of the work going forward, as we develop the quality framework, we will draw from the work of the QCTO in terms of what have they put in as things that need to be included in a work readiness program. But what we are looking at is really to have it as part of the quality as part of the quality framework. So majorly, we concentrated on the institution part because we felt that if we get that right in the framework, we will be able to fit in other issues in terms of the supervision and everything, because if the institution has got the workload correctly, we should be having people visiting students and monitoring students. It cannot be a case of you will do it if you have time, or you will do it if you are passionate enough to give up your own time. So we are saying, as the Commission is saying, in the quality framework, it needs to be emphasized that the visitation and supervision of students during work integrated learning is a quality imperative, and it does need to be in the framework. Our hope is that, hence we had said towards a will quality framework. From here on now, we will be taking the contributions from the Commission, juxtaposing it with what we already have, and then we'll also be looking at the framework from New Zealand and the framework from WACE, and we hope to have a draft of a will quality framework for the African region, probably in the first semester of next year. Thank you. I don't know if there are questions, Chairperson. Mali, yes, Mali? Do we have a mic, please?
Thank you. This is super exciting and very necessary. So, and I can imagine, you know, we see with many institutions, placement is it's a tough one. It's not easy, especially in the context of South Africa. Just one question, Fundiswa. Was there any kind of discussion thinking around expanding the scope of the framework beyond placement? I know placement in itself is already a huge mountain to climb, but you know, it also links to partnerships. As soon as you expand your scope of engagement with employer parties beyond just placement, let's say, for instance, project-based learning or applied research, and you really start showing the value proposition of your students to industry, it automatically leads to more opportunities for students for different types of work-integrated learning that goes just beyond placement. And you know, it's perhaps not just an unintended consequence, but it should be an intended consequence of the process. Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Yes, firstly, we looked at the placement leading on, so all the various facets, from placement to registration to supervision, etc. I welcome your contribution in terms of also expanding it to bring in the issues of project-based learning, and because in terms of the CHE document, the 2011 document, we speak about different modalities, and you are correct. In the quality framework, we also need to talk to what is required to implement, for an example, project-based learning, so that it's not a project taken off the internet, but it is a project with real stakeholders. And another issue that obviously would come in would be that, so we attached a bit on the issues of partnering with other entities, but also an employer engagement program is also very important in a will quality framework. But I think because of time and because of passion, people, you know, we thought, okay, we're going to talk about this and then we'll bring the others. But thank you very much. I've made a mental note and I'm going to translate it into here as soon as I step off. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Nofumela, for the feedback from Commission 1. We are now going to receive a presentation from the second commission that was dealing with will practice in the TVET sector, bridging the gaps. Over to you, Prof. Is it loaded?
Thank you very much. Yes, it is loaded. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Our protocols observed, I would want to extend my greetings to the House. I think some of you are going to be overwhelmed by my greetings because I came off the stage, I think about 20 minutes ago, and I'm back here. But anyway, it's fine. I'm going to present the deliberations that Commission 2 was working on as the will practices in the TVET sector, bridging the gaps. And I'm here on behalf of Professor Nduna. Professor Nduna is my mentor. So when she says jump, I'll say, how high? If now she says, come and sit down, I will do exactly that. So this presentation is on behalf of what I coined the active team. It is the active team because you are going to see the kind of deliberations that we had. Everybody was just active. It's either somebody was talking or you would look at somebody, you would actually see the thinking process going on. Yeah, you have the right one? Okay. So now we categorize the challenges that are faced in relation to implementation of WIL. We came up with the institutional challenges. These arise within the internal structure and operations of an educational institution. And then we also came with a category, curriculum-related challenges. These are tied to how WIL is incorporated into the educational curriculum. The industry-related to the external industry partners that host students for WIL placements. And then we have the student-centric. These focus on the student experience and involve factors that affect students' ability to participate in and benefit from WIL. And then we also came up with the administrative and operational challenges. These are challenges that originate from the day-to-day management and execution of WIL programs. And then we came up with also another category, which is related to research. So we tabulated these challenges as follows. For the institutional challenges associated with WIL, the first one is a limited industry partnership. And then we went ahead to describe that particular challenge. There is a lack of strong industry ties, which limits placement opportunities for our students. And then in the end, not all students are placed. And then we have limited number of workplaces and human resources to place our students. And the possible solution that we came up with was to build long-term relationships with the local businesses and sitters, to organize networking events, and offer industry incentives for participating in WIL programs, and to seek more funding. And then for skills mismatch, what are we saying? We are saying students' skills may not align with industry needs, making placement difficult. So the possible solution was to collaborate with industry stakeholders to align curriculum with the market needs and adapt training to current industry. So it means the department should come on board and assist us with that. And then for inadequate monitoring, we are saying students are not adequately monitored during placements due to understaffing and logistical issues. There we are proposing that colleges hire dedicated placement officers for each campus to oversee placements and use digital tools to track progress. And then the last one is lecturer being overloaded. We are saying lecturers are overburdened. They do have other responsibilities, leaving no room for them to participate fully in WIL activities. So we're saying if a lecturer is assigned some WIL duties, then there should be a reduction of workload to pave way for the additional WIL activities that will be assigned to the person. And we do have timelines that we put. I think you'll be able to get this document. So we're saying by June 2025, we should have tried to address the issue of inadequate monitoring. And the first two, they are ongoing. I think even from here, we have sitters around. Let's not just smile at these sitters and talk about other issues. Let's try to check if we can't have relationships with them. If we have any business, people around, yes, let's exchange business cards so that we try and move towards establishing these long-term relationships. Still talking about institutional challenges, we have inconsistent feedback from employers. Employers may not provide timely feedback on student performance. And we are saying, let's establish feedback protocols and ensure regular communication between the colleges and industry. And then inadequate institutional support, we are saying will coordinators often lack sufficient resources and training. So it is the duty of the college to provide training and resources to will coordinators to effectively manage placements and liaise with the industry. And then we also have some legal issues. We are talking about legal and insurance concerns that complicate placements. Let's make use of formal agreements and MOUs to clarify roles, responsibilities, and legal terms for all parties involved. In a research that we did, we realized that at times it's not clear who is supposed to buy PPE for students when they go for placement. The organizations think that students are supposed to come along with their PPEs, and the college thinks, okay, you are going to be working in that organization. So they are the ones who should provide you with the PPEs. So that needs to be clarified. And then lack of documents and structures governing will, we are saying there is a lack of policies and or any other structures aimed at enhancing will practices. I've always said, in the absence of anything that comes from the DHET, let's be proactive. Let's come up with our own policies that govern our colleges. And like I said earlier on, at ICALA, we do have a will policy, and we are even reviewing it now. We can't say, since the department has not given us anything, then we are going to sit and wait. So I've always said, in a house, if you are young and you are supposed to go to town, your mother has not shown you a dress to wear or shoes to wear. Are you going just to go out without wearing those things because your mother has not told you to wear this and that? Let's just be proactive and come up with our own documents. And then again, I'll give you an example. At ICALA, we have will campus committees. Each campus is a committee of 2 or 3. It depends with the programs that are on that campus. Each program is represented by a committee member. So the 3 or the 4 representing each program will make a campus committee. So if we have 5 campuses, then we have 5 committees, and then you come up with a college committee so that these people oversee the issues of will activities. And then we also need to request to be provided. In as much as we can be proactive and come up with our own documents, then we also need to ask DHET to formulate those documents. And then we also looked at curriculum-related challenges associated with will. The issue of skills mismatch. Again, there we are saying there is need to align curriculum with industry requirements. And with the incoming of the QCTO, I think that will be addressed. And then lack of integration of will into the curriculum. We are talking of work-integrated learning. It's more like it is hanging in the air. It's not somewhere where it is placed within the curriculum. So we suggested that it gets embedded as a core part of the curriculum and ensure theory aligns with practical work experiences. So all the members felt that will should be timetabled. It has to be part of the timetable, and it has to be taught in class, because there was an issue. She's scaring me. Okay, we said will has to be timetabled so that every student has to attend, and we really need to treat it to show that it is a significant part of this curriculum. And then inconsistent placement standards. There was need to standardize placement guidelines to ensure uniformity in student learning outcomes. And then we came up with student-centric challenges, lack of awareness and communication. We are recommending that there be improvement in communication through workshops, online portals, and social media to inform students about placements. And then student preparedness and soft skills. We talked about this earlier on. There is need to offer pre-placement training programs to develop professional skills like communication, teamwork, and time management. And then the financial barriers to students. The recommendation was to provide financial support through stipends, bursaries, or paid internships in partnership with companies. And then the issue of geographical and logistical barriers. There is need to establish remote or hybrid placement options and offer transportation or accommodation support where it is required. Now we are in the industry. There is limited capacity of host companies to host our students. The recommendation was to engage a broader range of companies and consider rotational placement across multiple small businesses. And then difficulty in securing placement for niche programs. There are certain niche programs that are probably, they find difficulties in securing organizations for placement. So again, we recommended that they develop industry partnerships in specialized fields and capitalize on alumni networks to find opportunities for niche programs. She keeps scaring me. And then the administrative and operational challenges. There is the issue of registration and administrative issues, the data management and reporting challenges. And then finally, the research-related challenges associated with WIL. We are saying there is lack of research. There is no research, or there's very little research in the TVET sector when we talk about WIL. And the solution is setting up a research structure mainly centered on WIL. That will be college, inter-college, and even we can collaborate with other countries. So I am here to invite people who are interested in conducting research in the TVET sector so that we come together, we collaborate, and we do a lot of research. There is so much that needs to be researched in the TVET sector, but I'm just inviting you maybe for a start so that we work on WIL, and then we can move over to other issues. There are issues of absenteeism, there are many other issues. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for the feedback. Are there any questions, colleagues? Comments? Happiness? Prof. Nofamela, and then there's a hand at the back. I think it's Dr. Shirley Lloyd. Am I right? Okay, yes, let's start with you. At the back. There's a hand at the back.
Thank you very much for the very thorough presentation and presentation of challenges and some of the solutions. My question is probably insignificant, but I think it speaks to a bigger issue. 2 years ago at the World Conference in East London, a big portion of discussion was given to the issue around the insurance and what happens to the student, and the TVET colleges in particular were very concerned about it. The same issue and others are raised today again. Is there any commitment from anybody to make sure that there are some answers given very quickly? Because if it's an issue for 2 years and nothing gets done, 2 years' time we may be hearing the same thing. So I'm asking, could there be some resolution to that matter? Thank you.
Okay, thanks for the question. Dr. Nofamela? Where's the mic? No, I got you had your hand up.
Thank you, thank you, colleagues. I think, Dr. Kwazi, what I also wanted to add, you spoke about the way that WIL is managed at, in institutions. And something that I missed when I was doing my own feedback is that the issue of where will reports in the different institutions also came up as an issue because we